Welcome to Happy Hour with Whiskey and the World.
Hi, welcome to Happy Hour. I'm Joe and this is Kat, and we're the hosts of the podcast Whiskey and the World. And today we're going to be talking about Johnnie Walker Blender's Batch Wine Cask Blend. With the longest name in the whiskey world. Actually, that's probably not true.
That's probably not true.
Anyway, so this one clocks in at about 40% alcohol by volume, or 80 proof if that's what you're interested in, and runs about $25 a bottle depending on what a shyster your local liquor store owner is. Now, we've covered Johnnie Walker before. We did the Director's Cut Blade Runner 2049 edition, which was a phenomenal whiskey, clocking in at about $108 a bottle. And if you can still find one, we urge you to buy it and then send it to us.
But yeah, we covered that in episode 12 of season 1 of the podcast. You guys can head over to iTunes and listen to that if you like.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about this particular bottle?
All right, so speaking about that, this is part of the limited edition Scotch whiskies from Johnnie Walker. They also do the Director's Cut, they do the Jane Walker Black, and then they do a rye cask finish, and then they also have a triple grain American oak. So, lots of stuff they got going on there.
Yeah, good lord. All right.
So you can tell just by looking at the color, this is a really light Scotch. It doesn't have a lot kind of going on, but because of that, it's not super complex. It's a blended whiskey, as all Johnnie Walker is, or it's from this blender's batch, I'll say, sorry. So it's a blended whiskey, and it's not really Scotch.
It's not quite wine. I'm not really sure what they were going for. If they were going for a spirit that was unoffensive, they nailed it, 100%. But they also failed to give me enough Scotch flavor and enough wine flavor to really kind of knock me off my socks, which is what I was hoping for this. Now, that being said, at a mid-$20 bottle, there's not a lot to complain about here.
Yeah.
It's solid. It's one of those ones where if you bring it to a party, people are going to be like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that one before. I've never tried that one. So it's definitely going to have a little bit of notoriety when you walk in the door with it. Also, something I noticed earlier as we were setting up, it says experiment number 6 on it, which I think is kind of neat. Yeah, if you can see that on the top. Now, as you folks at home may or may not know, we do our rating system out of 10. 5 points for the taste and the smell, which is the actual drinking experience, and 5 points for the packaging, the story, just the overall branding of the product. Mm-hmm. For me, this didn't quite give me enough of either of the ideas, didn't quite give me enough of the Scotch, didn't quite give me enough of the wine to really hammer it home. So it gets a 2.5 in terms of taste and smell for me.
I'm going to give it a 2.3, just a little below halfway. It's not bad. Being a red wine drinker myself, I was really hoping for something a little bit more complex, and I just didn't quite get that. So for me, it fell a little bit short, so a 2.3 for taste for me.
Yes, by no means offensive, but it is not bold by any stretch of the imagination. Now, in terms of packaging and story, we all know the Johnnie Walker story. It's a brand that's been around for a very long time. I don't know a whole lot about why they decided to do this particular blender's batch. They were a little tight-lipped about that.
It's just an experiment, I think, for them. They're just trying new stuff.
It's neat, but not a story that I would share around town. Anyway, and it is basically just a Johnnie Walker black bottle with a pink label. For packaging, it gets a 3.0 from me, bringing my rating to a 5.5. For
packaging, for me, I'm going to go 3.2. I like that they stuck with the original bottle, with their pink label. It caught my eye in the store, and, I being, again, a wine drinker, I wanted to try it, so they got my money either way, So 3.2 for me, bringing my score to a 5.5.
With my rating of a 5.5 and her rating of a 5.5.
Hold on, let me do the math.
If you're listening at home, it's a 5.5 for the show. So, with that being said, let's have a drink.
So today we're going to go for a really classic cocktail, a Johnnie and Ginger. So let's start by taking a nice big scoop of ice, and we're going to fill our rocks glass because we want this to be a nice cold drink. And then we're going to take 2 ounces of Johnnie Walker Blender's Batch Wine Cask Blend, and we're going to pour that over our ice. And since we're making a Johnnie and Ginger, let's go ahead and take some ginger ale and just fill up our glass. And you can do a 1-to-1 ratio, or you can add a little bit more ginger ale just to give it a little extra bubbly. And then for garnish, we're going to use some frozen raspberries, and frozen fruit is a great way to add a little chill to your drink without diluting it. And of course, what would wine be without a little chocolate? Thanks for meeting us for Happy Hour. If you had a good time with us, be sure to hit that like button and of course that subscribe button.
And if you're feeling so inclined as to buy us a drink, you can head on over to patreon.com/whiskeyandtheworld and see all the cool extra features we have for our Patreon members. Also, you can catch us on YouTube for happy hour every Wednesday, and on iTunes and SoundCloud with the Whiskey in the World podcast every Wednesday as well, with new and exciting guests. And remember, drinking's cool.
But staying alive to drink the next time is cooler.
So be safe.
And please drink responsibly.